Welcome to this episode of Life and IT Project Management, where we connect the dots between the life we experience and the IT project management delivery, so that aspiring and experienced initiative drivers achieve real-world success. Today, we are joined by a seasoned project management professional and P3.Express certified project manager with extensive experience at ERP. Sevan brings a unique blend of project management, business analysis, analytical thinking, and creative problem-solving skills to every project. He is a dedicated project management community volunteer. Sevan actively contributes to numerous initiatives embodying his life motto, keeping up with change and developing. Driven by this commitment, he continually enhances his expertise in project management, IT, leadership, and team management. Join me in welcoming Sevan Konu.
Thank you, Justice. Thank you for this warm introduction. I'm so happy to be here. I was surprised with all the sentences you throw at me. I cannot define myself like this. I'm gonna listen to it again and write down some notes. Thank you for this. So happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Today we will be talking about embracing. The topic is embracing minimalism with P3.Express. Eventually we will determine what the final title will be, but the structured thinking around what we'll be discussing will be centered on that. So I will begin with, just to have the audience connect with you on a personal or professional note, I would have to start by asking about your journey into project management. So what was your journey into project management and what influenced your decision to, choose it as a career and now teach it?
Okay, excellent question. Thank you. I can explain it very clearly. If I look at my career, I have been working for almost 20 plus years. I checked my CV today, and when I started working, it was 2004, I guess. So it's 2025 right now. It's like more than 20 years. And when I started to work, actually, I'm a mechanical engineer, so I was in the field most of the time at the factories and the production areas. And so I was in a lot of projects. For almost 10 years, I did a lot of things in a lot of areas, but I wasn't aware that these were all projects, like most of them. I also did some operation stuff with. Then when I was working for a manufacturing company where I was the ERP Project Manager, by chance, it was a dream job for me. And I realized I was doing some mistakes, right? You really realize it, like you do some stuff and you cannot get the attention of the stakeholders or some other problem, you can name it. Then I thought I'm doing something wrong. I need to learn how to manage a project. At least I need to gain some knowledge. Because to be a good project manager, you may get some trainings and everything, but at the end of the day, it's not only the training. You need to have some skills. You need to develop the soft skills, etc., etc. Then I asked one of my closest friends, how can I do this? He was in the IT sector, and he told me there's a certification called PMP. Then I started digging into it, and I realized there's an institution called PMI, Project Management Institute. Then my life started to change. I met some teachers, the instructor. It was 2015, like 10 years ago, and I decided to take a training. It was like 35 hours training. Then I took the training, but at the times I was too busy and life was too busy, and I didn't take the exam because you need to study, you need to prepare yourself for this exam. It's a very tough exam. And after a couple of years, I took the exam and passed. By getting the PMP, you get a lot of knowledge. But the PMP is like a guide at the end of the day. It's like a toolbox, very good toolbox. You have a lot of tools, and you can take the tools and use it in your projects. This is how it started. Then I also started volunteering for PMI. My local chapter was PMI Turkey chapter. Currently, I live in Turkey. I come and go to Armenia. sometimes, and I also have contacts in PMI Armenia, but I was working voluntarily for PMI Turkey chapter. I had a lot of roles. Then I realized the project management world is not only PMI. There are some other institutions or some other certifications, methodologies, frameworks. There are a lot of things out there. So I decided to discover them. It was 2 years ago I met P3.Express. It was not a chance. Volunteer colleagues, let's say, my friends, they translated P3.Express to Turkish. That's how I met the system, this framework. I was very impressed with everything. Then I took a training from Frank Turley. Some of you may know it. He is one of the co-founders of P3.Express. He is a very experienced project manager. Then I decided to go deeper with this system, and I also decided to become a trainer because I love to teach, I love to talk to people, and I said this can be like a freelance job for me, or I can also do this as a volunteer. I have a full-time job right now in a software management company, but I also train people with P3.Express for almost like a year, let's say, for almost a year. And I am one of the accredited trainers of P3.Express. Right now, there are 50 accredited trainers in the world, so I'm one of them. And yeah, my life also changed after P3.Express. Right now, I have another approach. I have a roadmap right now in my hands, and I can teach this to many people. A lot of people are interested in this, but I'm going to repeat myself. Project management is not only the methodologies or the framework or the roadmaps and everything. You need to have certain skill sets, like you need to be a good facilitator, you need to have good communication skills or conflict management skills. And on the third part, you may also need to know some tools like the software tools I'm talking about, but that's the easiest part. If you develop skills and if you get some trainings about some frameworks and methodologies, then you can solve the tool part. So this is more or less my story. I hope I was clear enough.
You were detailed. That was.
Yeah, I'm a detailed guy, so I try to explain everything. It's a training habit, I guess. I don't know.
No worries, no worries. Awesome. So basically, you went from your journey where you started having an opportunity to engage with material and training regarding P3.Express and now teaching P3.Express. So in brief, I know you did touch on a few things, but in brief, for the audience, most of whom will be unfamiliar with P3.Express, for the audience, please describe P3.Express in few words if you can.
Yeah, of course. Like most of the people, they may not heard about P3.Express. Right now, it's expanding to the world. There are a lot of trainers or volunteers in the whole world. P3.Express is like it's a project management roadmap. We call it system. Sometimes people get confused because of system. They think in some countries, if you tell them it's a system, they think it's a tool, like a software tool. It's not. It's like a framework. It's like a roadmap. There are some project management activities there. You know how to start a project. There are some steps in a linear line. You need to follow them. Then you have iterations like a monthly iteration. You need to start the month. You need to follow the weekly activities and some daily activities during the week. And after a month, you need to close the first month. Then you follow the second and third and fourth, goes and goes on. Let's say you have a project for 6 months, you follow some iterations like monthly, weekly, daily activities. And then after when you reach your goal and you go to project closing, there's a linear line too. You need to follow some steps. And then if you don't have a portfolio management system in your organization, your sponsor can also follow some post-project management activities. The beauty of it, all of the activities are essential ones for the project. Like they decided to come up with this, let's say, roadmap. It's the best word to describe it, I guess. You know how to start, you know how to follow the activities, then you know how to close the project. All the essentials you have it there, but it's not related to any sector. It's not connected to it. If you're in a construction sector, you need to add some details to some activities or some maybe additional activities. I'm not sure. If you're in IT, you can also add some stuff in there. You already have the essentials, the fundamentals of the project. You need to define the other needed activities according to your sector or the area or the organization, according to it. And that's the beauty of it. And one other good thing is it's I believe it's very easy to understand. Everybody can understand it. If you go to some other methodologies or frameworks, sometimes people are like struggling to understand it. Some levels in your organization, they understand it very easily. Some others, they can't. But in the P3.Express, it's not the case. Everybody can understand it. The language, the message and everything is very clear. Also, there are some other advantages. It's open to everybody, the whole world. It's not license-based. Everybody can use it. Access to the website, like take it, alter it, change it according to their request. You just have to give a reference to P3.Express. That's all they need. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to ask for any kind of permission. Everything is clear on the website. You just read it and go with it. I think that's beautiful. And it's very important for the whole world. Because some countries, some people, they don't have access to, because of maybe financial issues or some other issues, they don't have access to some books or, I don't know, some licenses and everything. Here, they have it open. They can use it in any project they want.
Awesome. Thank you for that detail again. Now, what I gleaned from what was said, basically taking the essentials of project management, starting the project, planning, executing, monitoring control, executing, monitoring control does have elements of having iterations for review, for feedback, then towards closing, but keeping things as nimble as is required. That's what I'm hearing. And that is fantastic because people can get lost in like many methodologies can get people lost in the weeds. And that leads me to my next question. We want to look at, for the audience, I'm sure they want to be able to say, okay, fine, how practically can this be applied? Because it sounds great, but how practically can this be applied? So I'll ask this question. So in what scenario or project example have you applied P3.Express, and can you walk us in brief end to end, if you may?
Yeah, of course. Like P3.Express is one of the roadmaps. There's also another roadmap called Micro P3.Express. It's a smaller version of P3.Express. In Micro P3.Express, you have weekly iterations, not monthly. It's for micro projects, 1 to 7 people currently. For my personal projects and for my micro projects, let's say 1 or 2 people in my family or with the friends, I'm using Micro P3.Express from start to the end. It's very easy to understand. It's smaller than P3.Express, think about it, and it's fun. And I always think my life in sections. The first section is projects, and second one, the operational stuff. If I have a project, if I have to get ready for an exam, if I have a training session, if I have a speaking session in any online or in person, I try to use Micro P3.Express. It's very helpful. You can clear your mind and follow the steps. Like it's a similar one. You have an initiation, you have weekly iterations, you have daily activities, and you need to close the project. I'm using it, so it's very helpful and results are good. And I started to create a knowledge base according to my activities and everything, so I can access it all the time. And for the P3.Express, right now, I'm currently trying to implement it in my company. Right now, we have a new implementation of a software for our own activities, let's say CRM and project management tool. We are going to use P3.Express to implement it. And about the results, I'm going to write a blog post so people can see it. I want to create a case study from it because we are, as trainers, we have access to some resources and we try to share this with our students, also with the public. There are a lot of case studies that are coming, like every month we receive 1 or 2 case studies from the world. Some of them in the fintech sector, some of them is in mining or healthcare. And a lot of companies are implementing the P3.Express or maybe trying to implement it. It's very easy. Sometimes it depends on the organization culture, it changes according to stakeholders and everything, but it's fun. And like for most organizations, we don't know the stories. Maybe they don't share it, but I'm sure a lot of them are trying to use it. It's fun.
Oh,
I highly recommend people to go for it.
awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay. So when it comes to individuals selecting between, like, we know that so many experienced project managers can take the framework, the PMBOK as it is, the guide as it is, and extract the value they need and apply accordingly to their project. Now, they can either do that or just go ahead and use P3.Express, right? How do you see the benefits? So for professionals who have the PMP already and who are possibly looking to get the P3.Express sort of like certification, maybe practitioner certification or so, how do you see the benefits of them applying P3.Express to their initiatives as opposed to doing that, especially if they find themselves in an enterprise that's not mature when it comes to its delivery governance framework, right? How do you see them benefiting from using the P3.Express as opposed to doing that extract and apply process with P?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you for asking this. If we think about PMBOK and P3.Express, like as I tried to explain earlier, PMBOK, the PMP certificate, after you get the PMP certification, I understand the PMBOK, you have all the knowledge of this guide. It's a guide at the end of the day. It's a very good guide. You have a lot of things in there. You can use them whenever you want. But if you try to start a project, manage the project and track it and close it with this PMP guide, it's not possible if you ask me. Since it's a guide, it's like a toolbox. You need to take the tools out of it and use it at the appropriate time. But with P3.Express, you have a roadmap. You know how to start a project. You know how to execute it, how to track, monitor it, and you know how to close it. It's a roadmap. It has all the essentials, as I explained earlier, but since it's not related to any sector or doesn't have the, let's say, you need something else beside the fundamentals. Let's say you need something for stakeholders, like a stakeholder cube matrix, let's say, from PMP or some other tool. Just implement it to take it from PMP and implement it with the P3.Express project, then you have it. Both of them combined, it's like a superpower. It's my saying, it's my comment, it's like a superpower. On the one hand, you have the roadmap, and here you have the guide. You have a lot of tools. Just take the tools from in it and implement it in P3.Express activities. Since P3.Express only has the project management essential activities, you may need some other tools. So for the experienced project managers, even though they may work in a structured and well-structured organization, they will need a roadmap at the end of the day. With the PMP, they have the tools, and they always have new faces around the company, the organization. It's easier to implement a P3.Express project. Then you can train people with the PMP and everything. It's a good start for people. I also get this question a lot from my friends or the students, which one is the best? If we compare, it's at the end of the day, it's two different things. So we have to approach it like this.
Awesome. So it does sound like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it does sound like, so for the P3.Express, it helps with, like you said, the essentials, the baselines, the most important things without any fluff. They get to it and they get it done, and I'm sure that it has, and each phase has minimal artifacts connected to each of them, so forth. Now, if the professional, the experienced PM manager needs anything else outside those, based on the scale or whatever of their project, they can glean from the entire PMP framework for what they need. And that is, like I said, specifically That is if they find themselves in an enterprise where an established degree of governance is not provided, right? So that's the way to go about it. The P3.Express has baseline, and they can glean from different resources, and the PMP is included. So that is that, right?
Yep.
Awesome. And just to be a bit more specific, so you spoke about iterations, and we know that for ERPs and for CRMs and for other enterprise software applications that an enterprise is adopting, quote unquote, within the framework of the digital transformation, right? As they do so, they can do so using or leveraging the P3.Express as well, right? Like in your case, you mentioned that.
Of course.
Awesome.
In my opinion, I want to add a comment here. In ERP projects or CRM, in my experience, I'd say, there might be other scenarios, but usually, not always, people seem to forget it's a project at the end of the day. First, they have to understand this. This is a project, and this project is gonna carry your organization to another level. So if it has the change management activities and everything. Project is change management. You change the organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, they have to understand this, and they need to approach this ERP and CRM or whatever the area is in IT as a project. You need to plan this. You need to initiate this first. There are some certain steps for it, and you need to plan this. It's not gonna, they think we're gonna install the software and set up everything, then our life is gonna change. But it's not only about software. Like there are people in there, they have to like it. You have to communicate with them. You need to have certain people, like very good skilled people for some modules, let's say, whatever the software is. So it's a project, and at the end of the day, you need to approach this as a project. It's not an operation. So that is the most important part, other than P3.Express. Of course, with P3.Express, you can manage this. This is a roadmap, but the problem is the approach. They need to approach this as a project. It's a mindset, in my opinion.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is even if keeping things minimal and P3.Express is helping with being efficient with what you do, it's not saying that you should do away with people management, change management requirements for the project. You still need to engage with people. You still need to ensure that they are carried along and they support the outcome of the project, basically.
Yeah, of course. It's the same with the project management, usually. I would like to add something here. With the projects, people usually focus on the tools. Like if you talk to someone, 90% of them, let's say, they ask you, which tool did you use? I'm not going to name any tool here. So,
Of course.
that's not going to be, I don't want to cause any problems, but they focus on the tools. Even today, I read something like there was a post on LinkedIn, and one of my connections shared some of the tools, like these are good for planning, these are good for resource management. It was a good post, and I added a comment below, and if one of the people is not my, she was not my connection. She was a junior project manager, I guess. That was her question. The question was, I'm a junior project manager. What tools do you recommend should I learn to become a good project manager? Something like that. So, I mean, the tool part is the easiest part. As far as you have the help document and the videos and everything, you can learn it, right?
Yes.
It's just 2 clicks. To be a good project manager, you need to know the facilitation, you need to know communication skills, you need to learn some methodology or framework, you need to gain this kind of knowledge. The tool part is the easiest part. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, even with the project management world, it's a problematic approach. People focus on the wrong things. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. So that leads me to this. Okay. That leads me to the next question. So for junior project managers and even aspiring project managers, what advice would you give them when selecting? So not tool. They don't have tool-based questions. They're trying to select the first methodology to begin with or to learn.
Well, there are a lot of trainings out there. Of course, I'm gonna recommend P3.Express since it's like open source and free. Every resource, almost every resource is free. Like 99% of the resources are free for P3.Express. The other 1%, maybe trainer has added some stuff in the training, so you don't know them, but it's open. They can read it. They can study it. There are documents in the website, so I highly recommend them to read it. There is also a simulation in the website. It's like a gamification. I don't know if you heard it. It's called Arta File Center. The name doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning at all. So you're in a project environment. There are 20 people in this game, and you can understand P3.Express step by step. It takes like 3 or 4 hours in total. You can save it and come back to the browser. It's even has it, I mean, the gamification, everything. So they can start from there. There are also some other certifications. If the organization they work or maybe they are going to apply to an organization, if they're asking for some other certification, like let's say CAPM, they can get a training also for CAPM. I'm not sure, but it depends on their target maybe. I don't want to guide them blindly, but my advice will be it's if they are going to learn something, advise them to choose something they are going to be able to use like in their work life.
Awesome.
That might be the best approach for them.
Awesome. Just to double back and mention a couple of things that Sevan did speak to. Number one is when it comes to choosing what methodology to begin with, some people are quick to just go for one specific, there's this certification. I don't want to mention certification. There's a certification or whatever for you to just quickly grab and they're marketing what you can get paid for. Well, your focus should be what is best for the market you are in, so that you can get that. Like he said, he did mention CAPM. So if it's CAPM that is valued, you know by the job boards and the kind of requisitions you were saying, then it's CAPM you go for. But P3.Express, I think one of the reasons why he probably mentioned P3.Express, Sevan, you can correct me. With P3.Express, I know that with PNP, you have to maintain your certification at intervals every 3 years right now. I think, yes, every 3 years. P3.Express, how does that work?
For P3.Express, if you're certified, it's valid for life. I think it's a good advantage for project managers. You don't have to recertificate yourself. But this also comes with a bonus. Every year, the officials of P3.Express, they sent an email to you, and the first 3 or 4 months, I'm not sure, you receive this email. Since you're a certified person, you have the right to take the exam again, free. It's an optional choice, like it's your choice. But if you take it, you can get recertified. The certifications has some year on it. Like if I'm gonna become the P3.Express practitioner this year, I'm gonna have P3P-2025. Next year is gonna be 2026. It's not very important, but it's the most important part. If you take the exam, you can see the latest questions, and since you have to study for the exam, you can stay fresh like in your knowledge. It's the best part. But it's optional. The good thing is optional. You don't have to collect any PDs or something. If you're certified, you're certified. That's the difference. There's a different approach. P3.Express has a different approach on this. I like it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
And then the next one, I've asked about the junior and aspiring PMs. Now let's talk about the experienced project managers. So what advice would you give when they're trying to leverage? They're thinking, I have been on projects with too much documentation required. So you're trying to say, okay, fine, how do I leverage P3.Express while the enterprise is demanding that I go with this delivery approach?
About the document side, you're right. Sometimes they ask for a lot of documents, but in my opinion, first we need to focus on the fundamental documents. I saw a lot of projects, even the fundamental documents like a deliverables map. In PMI world, they call it like WBS, report structure. Even that document maybe doesn't exist, or some some key points are missing. We need to focus on the project description or project charting document first. We need to have a good one. And we need to have a good record of the risks, the issues, the lessons learned. It's very important to handle the fundamentals first, then we can go to advanced documents. Of course, if organizations ask for this advanced documents, you need to do it, but first complete the fundamental ones because these will go to your archive in the organization. It's very important to keep this knowledge. And many examples, organizations, they don't have this good archiving system. So if a similar project comes up, the team, if there's a new team, they cannot go to archive and check all the records, like what was the deliverables, what was the tasks, which risks did they solve, which issues left, blah, blah, you name it. And this is an issue. This is a problem for the organization. So the essential part, the fundamental documents, 4 or 5 documents, they need to be organized very carefully and in a very good way. Otherwise, you will have problems. The other ones, you can also do it, but the fundamental part is very important, opinion. And experienced project managers, they also have problems with this. Trust me.
Sorry, you said what?
The experienced project managers, they also have problems sometimes with this documentation and everything because they lose focus to the essentials.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So basically, still going ahead with the fundamentals will always be the fundamentals, but whatever is required by the enterprise, they can provide what is required. Most of what is required by the enterprise will still factor the fundamentals that they are creating, right? But in a situation where they are in an enterprise that is not the delivery approach mature, they can just stick with the fundamentals, right?
Yeah. It's very important.
Awesome. All right. So overall, reflecting on your journey, is there an experience that stands out as impactful, or was there a major learning, or maybe that incident or event or experience was a major learning opportunity in your career, and why?
If I think like project management wise, there are two things I can say. I think I'm gonna repeat myself, but I wanna clarify everything. First one was the PMP. It was a huge, very great experience for me. I took a lot of lessons learned. It was a nice project for me. At the end of the day, taking an exam, it's a project. It's a personal project. You need to start it, to manage it, and you need to control the costs and everything. Like everything is up to you. Sometimes you're the sponsor and project manager all together at the same time. It's your personal project at the end of the day. And that was one of the most challenging and informative part of my life as project manager. And after studying the PMP, passing the exam, it's a huge success and you enjoy it. But learning all the stuff there, it's a guide at the end of the day. You learn a lot of stuff, and it's I enjoyed it very much. I mean, I have a lot of stuff right now from the book, new concepts about stakeholder management, from the planning, like maybe scheduling. I learned a lot of things. The second one was P3.Express. When I come to the P3.Express, I started to learn the minimalism, the concept. It's not easy to learn. Like, people think it's easy, but it's not easy. We think a lot of things in detail most of the time. We jump to the conclusion. Sometimes we don't plan the project. We don't try to plan it because we think we know everything. Some of us, not all of us. But if you try to think in the fundamentals and if you focus on the fundamentals, you also start to see the problems with some projects. Like you change your approach, and at the end of the day, if you can combine two of this, I think it's the best thing to do. I mean, that's the power you can have. That's the best power you can have.
It does take a while. It takes a lot of self-awareness for you to not want to just say, I'll stick with the traditional approach, even if it's failing me. But taking off the fluff and saying, okay, let me get back to fundamentals and see if this really helps me successfully deliver this project, right?
Yeah, of course. And one other thing, when I learned about P3.Express, there are some principles in P3.Express. It's called NUP, Nearly Universal Principles of Project. There are 6 of them. One of them says, be open to any other thing you can learn, something like that. Like you need to be open to some other methodologies. You can't say like agile is bad or traditional project management is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. You need to be open to new things. You need to read, research, talk to people, try to learn from it. Not everything is great. Even P3.Express has maybe have some failures at the end of the day or some problems. So you can solve them by researching and checking new stuff, talking to people, like connecting with people. The communication is very important. You need to be open to everything.
That's beautiful, because the other frameworks sort of like stick to their own and don't speak on merging or even combining schools of thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Just yes, which also doesn't practically
I agree.
help. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. So
My pleasure.
this has been very beautiful. We
Thank
started with your journey into project management and what eventually led to you teaching P3.Express. We went into the fundamentals, basically how P3.Express, the advantages of leveraging P3.Express, sticking to fundamentals, and of course, exemplifying what executing with minimalism is really. We spoke to an example that you have personally been through. We went on to the fact that aspiring or junior PMs, the approach they should go by when choosing what methodology to begin with, based on the context they are in, amongst other factors. Then we went on to experienced PMs, the fact that they can still stick to fundamentals while providing what the enterprise needs, or if the enterprise doesn't need too much from them, they can just stick to fundamentals. I believe that there were so many other nuggets that the audience will be able to catch and basically benefit from. At this point, do you have any workshops coming up shortly that the audience can look out for, or how best can the audience reach out to you?
Yeah, the audience can always reach me via LinkedIn. They can connect, they can send messages. I will happily answer them. Any question they have, I can help them. My next workshop will be a local workshop in Turkish next month. And then I also have a speech next month, also in Turkish in Istanbul. But I will also have another coffee talk in Armenia, hopefully next month, at the end of the month, I guess. But the international workshops, I always post them on LinkedIn. Currently, I didn't plan anything, but this year I'll have some workshops. And if they want to join it, I'll be happy to invite them. And also, one other information, like for those who don't know, this year we hopefully, I think we're gonna start P5.Express trainings. Not soon, but this year it's gonna happen, I guess. And hopefully I'm gonna become a trainer also in P5.Express. P5.Express is portfolio management. It's another level. So project management, let's say it's in the middle. So at the highest part, we have P5.Express. Yeah, it's just, if you guys wanna find out about this, follow me, or we have also some other good trainers. You can also follow them. We always try to support each other, by the way. P3.Express well. So hopefully we can talk in another, let's say, webinar or maybe meeting. I don't know, with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So basically, they should look out for posts from you. They can check your LinkedIn profile. I will post that. I'll put that up on the screen. They can check your LinkedIn profile and reach out to you for any inquiries. We hope that this has been useful to you, the audience. And if you have learned something, please let us engage, like, share, and comment. And when you do get to comment or ask questions, don't forget to click the subscribe button, and also click the bell notification button if you wish to continue to get content connecting life and IT project management. Until our next episode, please remember, every man is the architect of his fortunes. Thank you.